Good morning. So you get two Yale guys within the span of 12 hours. You poor young souls. You want to know a good way to tell if someone went to Yale? Don't worry, they'll tell you. Today, I intend to share a poignant memory and to amplify the echo of a spirit. As a teenager, I vicariously received bits and pieces of the Salisbury education. My brother spent 4 wonderful years here and a tumultuous freshman year at Brunswick, following his tumultuous freshman year at Brunswick. I stayed at Brunswick for those 4 same years, and candidly, I was often jealous of how much fun he seemed to be having here on the hilltop. I have some fond memories of visiting this place as a teenager. A lot of them in Payson Door. He spent half his time here. I had some great teachers at Brunswick whose lessons served me well in college and beyond, and that are being passed on in the classrooms of Centennial today, but they didn't seem to hold a candle to the relationships that my brother had here with the Salisbury faculty. I remember hearing over breaks about Mr. McCrisky's wonderful history class. This hard-nosed enforcer, Mr. Ruskin, and this charismatic preppy guy from admissions who had the gift of gab and went to Brown. His name was Chiz. I always thought that was cool. I also remember hearing about this uber athlete who had just finished his career as a stud lacrosse player in college and he was just the man. I mean, I didn't get to meet him until my brother's senior year when he lived in Payson, 3rd floor, room 39. And this gladiator was his dorm parent. His name was Sean Bowler. Mr. Bowler graduated from Williams College in 1998, where he played lacrosse. He then started teaching math and social studies and coaching lacrosse and football here at Salisbury. When my brother arrived here for school his senior year, he learned that Mr. Bowler had been tragically diagnosed with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. In 2001 to 2002, my brother's senior year would be his last year at Salisbury. He passed away a few years afterwards from that dreadful disease. I don't remember with any clarity at all a single moment of my graduation from Brunswick. I vaguely remember the gym, which is gone now, and being with my classmates. But as far as what the people up on the podium had to say, or any other specific details, I don't remember a single thing. At my brother's Salisbury graduation, I can tell you exactly where I sat, the weather, what I wore, who I sat next to, and who the speaker was. I was in the aisle a few rows from the back. It was in the main quad. So on the left side, on the south side, near South Dorm, where I now live, it was brilliantly sunny in the morning, and it turned to overcast in the afternoon. I wore a blue Brooks Brothers dress shirt that I forgot to put the collar stays in, khakis, a pink Vineyard Vines tie that I saw Mr. Scoville wearing 2 days ago, the one with the feet. Merrill slip-ons, and I sat next to Elizabeth Kobe, and the graduation speaker was Sean Bowler. And I remember it like it was yesterday, seeing him fight his way up to the podium in defiance of that dreadful disease that was eating away at him, and deliver the speech that it ended up changing my life, and during the course of which he managed to call out and unintentionally embarrass my brother. I don't know why or how I have this, but for some reason I have an original copy of his speech. I don't know if my brother asked for it from him afterwards, or I found it this summer in the process of moving up here. And I think what I'm supposed to do is share some of it with you. So, for me, here is for me a particularly meaningful excerpt from Sean Bowler's parting words to the Salisbury graduating class of 2002. Well, if you told me a year ago that I would be the graduation speaker this year, I would have told you that you had a little too much to drink. If you checked with Vegas, which I did, they would have told you that the odds of Sean Bowler giving a public speech were 3,720 to 1, which all you Star Wars fanatics and students in my class know the odds C-3PO gave Han Solo about successfully navigating through an asteroid field. I have this weird habit, well, several to be exact, but we don't need to go into all of them right now. The one that is important to this speech, and you fine young scholars, is my habit of putting up strange or weird song lyrics on the dry erase board on my dorm door. I stole that idea. I would challenge the students in the dorm to figure out what song the lyric was from, and most of the time they had no idea. If it wasn't 98 Degrees of the Backstreet Boys, Toby Atkins, would be dumbfounded. However, there is one man who has discriminating tastes like my own, Tim Rees. He was able to get 1 out of every 3 songs. Tim, I'm going to put you on the spot soon. I want to talk about one lyric that has had a particularly strong impact on my life. I put this line on my fridge in college when I moved in freshman year. At the time, it really meant nothing to me. I thought it just sounded cool. Once in a while, you get shown the light, in the strangest of places if you look at it right. Now, Tim, where is that lyric from? Now, this is how I know it's the original speech, because written down here it says, that's right, it's from Scarlet Begonias by the Grateful Dead. Tim got it wrong. He said Fire on the Mountain. I think he got some bad advice, but that's what he thinks. That's kind of the excuse he makes. Here at Salisbury, I have seen the light in very strange places. If you had told me 3 years ago that Al Tower, a man with the unique ability to distract an entire class at the drop of a hat, would help me be a better teacher, I might have laughed. But Al gave me the confidence to admit that I could use some help around the classroom every now and then. You guys do the same thing for me. I don't want you to think that being shown the light has to be something so profound. Seeing the light can make you laugh when you have a bad day. I'll never forget the day that Brian Benji tried to convince me that Lake Ronkonkoma has no bottom, but that it does contain one genuine lake fairy who visits Brian often. I laughed for hours. It still brings a smile to my face 2 years later. About 2 months ago, I was having a bad day, and the last thing I wanted to do was go to sit-down lunch. But I went anyway. I'm glad I did. As I went to sit down, a student pulled a chair out for me and poured me some water. My day was saved. Something that little can really make a difference in your outlook. I have a feeling that some of you will also stumble during your first year of college. You may feel like you are moving backwards. Please, for the love of God, move forward. You must refocus and start walking slowly towards your goal. Get help from teachers, peers, and/or your coaches. I know some of you gentlemen have learned that lesson here. It's amazing to look back at the remarkable transformations that have taken place over the years. As you enter this next stage of life, I pray that you will continue to move forward with your minds and hearts open to the light. For me, Mr. Bowler's words that day would prove to be indelible. I still remember, I can see him right now. And sorry, it's just a little, even though I didn't know that well, it just shook me up a little bit. I was in the nascent stages of developing an appreciation for what would become my favorite band, the Grateful Dead, and I'd always think of his words when that song, Scarlet Begonias, would come on. And it was funny to watch my brother get embarrassed in front of a large crowd. He'll tell you stories about it. That, Fire on the Mountain is about as close as you can guess. Any Deadhead will validate that, including my brother. Still wrong, bro. When I'm having a bad day, I try to summon Mr. Bowler's advice and look for the light side of life. Sometimes you have to keep your minds and hearts open to seeing the best in other people, too. I like to say to my students, yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And one of my students recently told me that's also from Kung Fu Panda. That's great. Please, for the love of God, be grateful for every day you're blessed with. The butterfly effect of gratitude can change everything. So let's start there. And today, and seize today in honor of Mr. Bowler, who doesn't have any more days on the earth, sadly. Move forward with your minds and hearts open to the light. For a day, be a night.